This video delves into the turbulent life of Faruk May, who was one of the leaders of Majimbos gang from El Dorado Park, a man whose name became synonymous with power, controversy and violence. Farouk's story took a dark turn when he clashed with Vanguard, another gang leader whose nickname, meaning cheeks in Afrikaans, masked a ruthless reputation. Now the feud exploded one fateful night at Club 12 Play. Hammers were drawn out, chaos erupted, and when the dust settled, 3 gangsters were laid down. Farouk surrendered his hammer to the police, claiming self-defense, but the odds were stacked against him. The lead investigator in his case was allegedly linked to his rivals and profiting from their dope empire. Now Farouk spent 14 years behind bars. Desperate to clear his name, he even escaped prison, vowing to expose the corruption that framed him. Yet his freedom was short-lived. In 2021, Farouk met his end, taken down in a hail of shots amid allegations of his involvement in the Construction Mafia extortion racket. Now in this episode, we'll unravel the controversial and violent saga of Faruk May, a life marked by fast money, bloodshed and a relentless pursuit of justice. Eldos, as it's commonly known, emerged from the forced removals of apartheid. Originally designated a colored group area, over time, however, many black Africans have settled there as well. Like many South African townships, Eldos is plagued by social issues that deeply affect its youth. Unemployment is rampant and many families in the worst parts of town depend on social grants to survive. Now in this bleak economic landscape, criminal enterprises have become alternative sources of income. In the late 90s, car theft, dope syndicates and even cell phone robberies offered employment opportunities, while their byproducts, the chop shops and stolen goods networks, which created secondary industries to a point where in certain situations, entire homes would be outfitted with stolen goods. Protect your car with CarTrack because your vehicle deserves the best in security and tracking solutions. If your car is highly valued or considered at risk, there's no need to worry every time you leave it parked. With CarTrack, you're covered. Now CarTrack provides you with theft recovery assistance with rapid response from both ground and air units, an independently audited 90% recovery rate giving you complete peace of mind, driver behavior monitoring to encourage safer driving habits, and the innovative car watch feature for enhanced vehicle security, as well as a high-quality dash cam that records up to 80 hours of video and audio footage with live streaming capabilities straight from your phone. And always stay in control with real-time vehicle tracking through the CarTrack app available on your iOS, Android and other devices. And remember, all CarTrack installations are completely free, so click the link in the description and get yourself a free code. Now thank you to CarTrack for sponsoring this video and to our loyal subscribers for your continued support. In Bushkoppies, an affluent area of the town, a notorious short caller named Papi Jones operated a fleet of taxis, but his true wealth was rumored to have stemmed from pushing dope and stolen cars. His opulent lifestyle included a private helicopter apparently. Now another local kingpin flaunted a Lamborghini at the time where most people had never seen one before, a glaring symbol of the illicit economy that existed there, and they were not the only ones running the streets. These short callers, or makweras as they were called, had meticulously defined territories and industries. Some specialized in narcotics, that green kush, buttons and powdered dope, while others ran chop shops capable of dismantling stolen vehicles within a short period. Bribe police officers were reportedly frequent visitors to these operations. The short callers, or the makweras as they were called, employed various gangs to execute their dirty work. Most common operations at the time were dope dealing, car theft and cell phone snatching. Now among these gangs, there was Majimbos, the Dogs, Davaras, Matarianas, Biza Boys, Young Ones and others. Now in the early 90s, car theft was the dominant crime in townships, with thieves specializing in high-demand models like BMWs, Golfs, and Caravellas. Vehicles were often stolen to order, with prices ranging from 5,000 rands to 30,000 rands, plus additional costs for forged paperwork. Now, connections with corrupt police officers made these crimes both lucrative and low risk. The Majimbos gang were one of Eldo's most feared gangs. Now, over time, dope dealing became their most profitable hustle, but with the money came chaos. Violence and betrayal simmered between the surface as internal squabbles tore the gang apart. Now, these tensions often escalated into full-blown gang wars, and by the late 90s, the Majimbos were in shambles, split by a deadly feud between two of their leaders, Farouk and Vanguard. The boiling conflict reached its breaking point on October 17, 1999 at Club 12 Play, a nightclub in Roodepoort packed with over 1,000 partygoers. Now, in the early hours, tensions flared in the VIP area, where Farouk and Vanguard exchanged heated words. Witnesses said Farouk stormed out, visibly enraged. On his way out, he collided with Famida, a young woman who saw at him. Enraged, Farouk smashed a glass into her face, leaving her with horrific injuries that required extensive reconstructive surgery. Now, his own hand was bloodied and cut from the shattered glass. Minutes later, Farouk returned with a heavy hammer. He as a warning shot into the ceiling at the club's entrance before making his way into the VIP area. There, he allegedly lit that place up, taking out Vanguard, Desmond, and David Malchus, and wounded Gedald in the knee. Now, the chaos sent patrons scrambling for cover in what became a night of terror. After the Farouk surrendered the hammer to the Eldorado Park police station and was subsequently convicted of assault with intent to cause grievous bodily harm and multiple counts of murder. Now, Farouk's version of the night at Club 12 Play painted a dramatically different picture from the state's narrative. According to him, the chaos erupted when members of Vanguard's crew started a fight in the VIP area. Now, Farouk claimed he had stepped in to calm the situation but was blindsided by a bottle smashed over his head by someone named Elvis. As he staggered, another man known only as Moise lunged at him with two broken bottles, stabbing Farouk's right hand and leaving him bleeding. Farouk alleged that amidst the chaos, he overheard Gedald asking Vanguard for a hammer. When Gedald retrieved the hammer, Farouk claimed they grappled for control, the struggle causing two shots to fire. In the confusion, Vanguard allegedly charged at Farouk with the bottle, forcing Farouk to shoot in what he insisted was self-defense. Desmond, a member of Vanguard's crew, had stepped between them at the wrong moment, and the bullet tore through both Desmond and it also hit Vanguard, taking them both out in one shot. As Farouk tried to leave the carnage behind, he said a guy by the name of Kiron attacked him near the exit. Desperate, he fired a shot into the air to scare him off, then fled to the police station, where he surrendered his hammer. Bloodied and battered, Farouk maintained that he had acted purely out of self-defense, pointing to his injuries on his nose, head, and hand as proof. However, the testimonies of Club 12 Play's manager and head of security contradicted Farouk's claims and supported the state's version. Now, the court found Farouk's account riddled with inconsistencies, improbabilities, and contradictions, dismissing it as false beyond reasonable doubt. Now, Farouk was convicted and sentenced to 2 life terms. While Farouk continued to insist he had only fired 1 shot in self-defense, the court ruled otherwise. Now, Farouk claimed that corrupt police officers colluding with a rival gang had orchestrated his downfall to seize control of Eldorado Park's lucrative dope trade. Now, his accusations were dismissed, leaving him to rot in prison as a symbol of Eldos's dark and violent underworld. After a decade behind bars, in May of 2010, Faruk May pulled off a daring escape from Vereniging's Groenpoint prison during an outdoor workday. But instead of vanishing into the shadows, Farouk made a bold move. He contacted the Department of Justice, offering to surrender publicly at the Sandton police station, but only if the case was re-investigated. Now, to amplify his message, he called into Radio 702 to tell his story, claiming that he had been framed by corrupt police officers colluding with his rival gang. Now, according to Farouk, these officers were profiting from the gang's dope trade, and he had evidence to prove it. Despite having no formal education, legal training, or support system, Farouk proved to be smart enough to meticulously piece together paperwork and documents to back his claims. Seeking support, he turned to a relative in Pretoria with legal knowledge, I think it was his aunt, hoping for help to expose what he called gross miscarriage of justice. Farouk alleged that the forensic evidence used in his trial had been tampered with. Key details such as manipulated bullets and even the hammer without a serial number had been presented to the court as evidence. And according to him, that was not the hammer that he used, because the one he used had serial numbers. Despite his efforts, Farouk's demands for reinvestigation fell on deaf ears. Now, authorities dismissed his claims and he was promptly returned to prison. But Farouk was not one to give up. Determined to clear his name, he tirelessly fought to bring his case back to court, even petitioning the Constitutional Court. Though his application was dismissed on technical grounds, his relentless fight caught the attention of the Vets Justice Project, the WJP. Now, by the end of 2010, the WJP, known for exposing wrongful convictions, stepped in to assist him in his quest for justice, and they did it for free. Farouk's legal team argued that his original charge of premeditated murder, which is planned and deliberate, should have been classified as culpable homicide, a lesser charge reserved for killings that happen in the heat of the moment. Now, the argument was critical as it carried a lighter sentence. Now, since all his charges stemmed from one tragic night, Meyer's sentences ran concurrently, including 2 life terms for the deaths of Vanguard and Desmond. Effectively, this meant Meyer was serving 25 years, but by 2014 he had already served 14 years, more than a third of his sentence. Now, his time served and legal revisions worked in his favor, and eventually Meyer was granted his release and allowed to return home. Now, his story became a chilling tale of resilience, corruption, and a man's relentless fight for freedom amidst a system riddled with shadows. Now, after his release, Farouk slowly re-entered society, reportedly establishing himself as the owner of a couple of businesses, including a construction company. However, it wasn't his business that drew headlines. It was his role as the leader of the Sisonke Eldorado Park Business Forum. Now, rumors were going around, branding the forum as part of the so-called Construction Mafia. Now, accusations suggested they were extorting companies attempting to operate in Eldorado Park, exploiting a system meant to empower local businesses. A 3-month investigation by Mail and Guardian into a major public infrastructure project revealed disturbing claims of widespread intimidation, and the Sisonke Forum was accused of leveraging the government's mandate to allocate 30% of contracts to local and small-medium businesses. Instead of empowering local businesses, sources alleged that the forum pressured contractors to pay exorbitant fees to them. One small business owner alleged that he was coerced into paying Farouk a percentage of his invoice during work at the Nansfield Primary School construction site. He claimed to have handed over more than 500,000 under Farouk's directives, even though the guy never showed any evidence as proof, claiming he feared for his life. Other sources corroborated Farouk's aggressive tactics, stating that he frequently held local government officials accountable by using disruptions as leverage. They claimed Farouk often led walkouts of small business representatives and allies during unresolved meetings, angrily declaring that the project would remain shut down until their demands were met. Now Farouk had a strong presence and he was intimidating, and he used that to his advantage. Farouk met a violent end in April of 2021. According to witnesses, Farouk and another man believed to be Marcus were reversing out of the driveway of a space shop owned by Farouk when another vehicle suddenly pulled up behind them without warning. Chaos unfolded in seconds. Farouk reportedly tried to exit the vehicle, scrambling to find cover, while Marcus instinctively raised his hands to shield his face. Now the hail of shots found their mark. Marcus was pronounced dead on the scene, while Farouk, clinging to life, was rushed to hospital but succumbed to his injuries shortly afterwards. Now the hit was swift, brutal, and left no doubt it was the final chapter in the life of a man who had lived on the edge. People were divided over Farouk's death. Some claimed he had turned over a new leaf and was determined to help his community, while others insisted he was still the same gangster, just running a different hustle.
This is a Toyota Corona, 1975 model, and the name of the vehicle is Chili Baby.
And it was mostly because I love the interior of the car. The interior is still original. It's got this old, dark, deep red color.
It's my prized possession. It's my baby. There's no car in the world that I would want to replace it with. So on the 2nd of August, the car was stolen. I was in Ocean Basket with my friend, and when we came out, we didn't saw the vehicle. My heart dropped. It was bad.
I called CarTrack. I was so shocked, and the agent on the other side, calmed me down, and he traced everything, and he said, "Listen, I'm going to give the case over straight away." And then he told me, "Please immediately go to the police station," which we did. And we were still in the police station, busy opening the case, when he relief came running back into the police station and said, "Mom, they told me they found the car." And it was within an hour that Christian's car was retrieved. And I'm telling you, we are so thankful for CarTrack for that.
Dankie baie CarTrack dat julle my trots teruggebring het vir my.